Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to our Arabic class. We are doing the Medina Arabic course book 1, and tonight inshallah ta'ala we are finally starting on a new lesson, which is lesson number 14. It's quite an important lesson. It's not exactly something which you haven't done, but this lesson will show you that if you have been following all the lessons so far, you'll come to realize what your level should be from this lesson. So let us begin. Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. So الدرس الرابع عشرة, the 14th lesson. So the lesson starts out as a conversation, and follow the conversation. Try and apply as much of the laws that you know to it. And what you will notice is we'll be doing short to long sentences, but the thing is putting all the harakat in its proper places. And you see how if you're able to follow the class and you're able to understand what is here, you then can use these same sentences as part of your conversation going forward. So let's start. He says al-fityatu. So it's a youngster. The youngster is saying assalamu alaikum. Fatatu al-fityatu. So it's the plural form. So there's youngsters, but essentially it's like one of them is speaking, but to begin with, it's like the whole lot of them makes one statement, and all of them say assalamu alaikum. So a whole lot of youngsters come along and they say assalamu alaikum. And a man by the name of Hamid, he replies, Hamidun wa alaykum assalamu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So assalamu alaikum wa alaykum assalamu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now obviously, he could have just said wa alaykum assalam, but فَإِذَا حُيِّيتُم بِتَحِيَّةٍ فَحَيُّوا بِأَحْسَنَ مِنْهَا أَوْ رُدُّوهَا. As Allah tells us, that if you are greeted with a greeting, then greet with a better greeting, or at least return the same. So obviously, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh is better than just saying wa alaykum assalam. But at the bare minimum, you say wa alaykum assalam. So he replied wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now, ahadul fityati, one of the youngsters from this group speaks up. He says, Kayfa haluka ya ammi? How are you? Haluka, halun means state. Ka, yours, you singular male. Remember, we did this in our Arabic pronouns. So that's why I'm saying what you have learned previously is being bunched together in this lesson here to show you how much you actually know, but you may not necessarily be able to put into words so easily. So kayfa means how. Hal, state. Ka, haluka, your state, which means how are you in Arabic. Haluka, you one man. Haluki, you one woman. But we're dealing with masculine here now. Kayfa haluka? How are you? Ya ammi, oh my paternal uncle. Now I made mention of this before. This man Hamid is of no relation to these youngsters whatsoever. But out of respect and decency, when you speak to an older person, you would refer to them as ammun or ammi, my uncle. Paternal uncle is used whether you are speaking now to, or at least I should say, if you are speaking to a strange man. So he's a strange uncle. In English we'd say uncle so-and-so, uncle so-and-so, even though it's no relation to you whatsoever, but it's out of respect that you refer to them as such. So in Arabic, you've got ammun and you've got khalun. Khalun is your maternal uncle. Ammun is your paternal uncle, but you don't refer to a random man as being your maternal uncle. You refer to him as being your paternal uncle. So ammi, and you'll find this in normal Amia and normal Arabic speech when they're referring to a random uncle comes along and you want to ask how is he, you would use ammi, ya ammi, my uncle, my paternal uncle specifically. So that's why he's saying, how are you, oh my uncle, even though the man is not his relation at all. So how are you, oh my uncle? And Hamid replies, Ana bi khairin walhamdulillah. Kayfa halukum? Man antum? And this part obviously tells you that he's no relation at all. So Hamid replies by saying, Ana, I. Remember Arabic pronouns that we did? Ana meaning I. Ana bi. Ba is the, with, literally, if you were to translate it, Bismillah, you know that ba, it's the same ba here. Bi khairin. Khair means goodness. I am with goodness. I am in a good state, in other words. Ana bi khairin walhamdulillah. I am well and all praise is due to Allah. You can say Alhamdulillah ana bi khair, or you can say ana bi khairin walhamdulillah. Ana bi khairin walhamdulillah is the more commonly used reply. So if somebody asks you how are you, generally you would say ana bi khairin walhamdulillah. Now whether you are male or female, that part doesn't change because first person doesn't distinguish between genders. So ana bi khairin walhamdulillah. I am well and all praise is due to Allah. Kayfa halukum. Remember kayfa haluka is what they asked him. Now kayfa halukum. Ka, kuma, kum. Remember our Arabic pronouns. So we did singular form. Now we're doing plural masculine. Kayfa halukum. How are all you youngsters? You know, you asked me how I am. Now I'm asking you, how are all of you? And then he asks, man antum. Who are you all? Which shows that he does not know any of them. So he's not their uncle at all. He's just a random man that they're showing respect to by calling them their uncle. So, man antum. Man anta, you one man. Man antum, all you men. So what we are essentially doing in this lesson is shifting to speech in a plural form. So we did from a singular form, you one man, etc. How are you, and things of the sort. Now we're doing it in a plural masculine form. So he said, I am well and all praise is due to Allah. How are all of you? Who are you all? That's basically what he's now saying. So now the ahaduhum, ahaduhum, one of them, ahadul fitya, that's what's being referred to. Ahaduhum, one of them. One of the youngsters replies, he says, Nahnu abna'ud dukturi Musa. We are the sons of Professor Musa. Duktur would be translated as doctor. But you know, tabibun is a doctor. You know, you've got a doctorate degree. That doctorate, when you are doctor, you know, professor doctor, you know, that type of doctor, that doctorate degree. In Arabic, you refer to it as duktur. As you can tell, it's taken from English doctor, duktur. So you have tabibun, which means a person of medicine and medical doctor. Duktur refers to a person who's got a degree, you know, that type of a degree. Not that he's a doctor in any way or form, but that he's got a degree, a doctorate degree. So we are the sons of, that's why I'm translating it rather as professor, so you don't get confused. We are the sons of Professor Musa. You could translate it as we are the sons of Dr. Musa. You know, like you would find, for example, take it of in the Arab world nowadays. You know, them and in Egypt and those places, they so groveled and want to follow the ways of the kuffar that because a kafir gets a doctorate degree and he becomes professor doctor. You know, Dr. So-and-so, he's got no medical degree, but he's Dr. So-and-so because of his degree that he's got. So now in the Arab world today, they have so want to imitate the kuffar that they don't want to be called Shaykh, Alim, and things like this. No, they want to be Dr. So-and-so. You know, but anyway, so we are the sons of Professor Musa. Hamid now says, Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban. Abukum sadiqi. Aina ammukum ash-shaykh Isa. He says, Ahlan wa sahlan, which is generally translated, and of course, marhaban follows it. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban. All, when people do a basic translation, they tend to translate it all as being welcome. Literally, when you break the words down, you know, like you be at ease, like if you are with your family, for you are welcome here in our presence. That, you know, it's that vast of a meaning, but of course, saying welcome makes it a lot easier. But ahlan wa sahlan, you will find it being used just like that. And you can also add on wa marhaban as well. So ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban. Abukum sadiqi, your father, all of yours, you say one father. Your father is who? Sadiqi, sadiqun. Remember we did the word sadiqun, which means a friend. Sadiqi, my friend. Your father is my friend. then dot dot dot, meaning he pauses before he speaks, and he says, أين عمكم الشيخ عيسى? Where is your paternal uncle, Sheikh Isa? So here you come to know that the uncle is an alim, so to speak. So this man is a professor, but he's asking about the uncle who's an alim. So he uses the word sheikh. Now, sheikh can also mean, for example, an old man. Linguistically, literally, it can refer to an old man. But you come to understand from the context over here that he would be speaking about a sheikh, hence why he's using it as a title. And he didn't just ask, Aina ammukum Isa? Where's your uncle Isa? But rather, where's your uncle Sheikh Isa? So, ammukum, ammun, ammuka, ammukum, ammi. You all we're doing is we're changing the possessive pronoun. Ammukum, all your uncle. Ammuka, your uncle. Ammi, my uncle. So you see how you change things around. Like I say, we did do this in that previous class when we had touched on the Arabic pronouns. So if you did that class well, this should all be a walk in the park for you. But in any case, so where is your paternal uncle, Sheikh Isa? So I know your father. Your father is my friend, and I also know your uncle, your father's brother. He's a sheikh. Where is he? So أحدهم, one of the boys, he replies, and he says, هو مريض. هو الآن في المستشفى. He is sick. He's currently, or he is now. Al-ana means now, but obviously currently and now means the same thing in English. So he is currently now in the hospital. And Hamid now replies, شفاه الله. من هذه الطفلة التي معكم? The dot 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 shows you make a statement, you pause, and you carry on speaking after that. So he starts out by saying, Shafahullah. He makes a dua for the uncle and he says, Shafahullah. May Allah cure him. Shifa, we all know the word shifa, which means to cure. Shafahullah means may Allah cure him. And then after making this dua, he continues on with his conversation with him and he says, Man hadhihi tiflatu allati ma'akum. Tiflun, we did before, which is masculine, a young boy. A tiflatu means a young girl, a child, a toddler, so to speak. So who is this little toddler girl that is with you? Allati, alladhi we did. Allati is the feminine form. Ma'a, with. Kum, all of you, plural masculine. So, essentially, all of these things are what we had done. It's just being put into practice physically what you had done before. So who is this little girl that is with you? أحدهم هي أختنا. One of the boys, he speaks up and he says, هي, she, third person, singular feminine. هي أختنا. أختنا. Plural possessive pronoun. So, ukhti, my sister. Ukhtuna, our sister. Hiya ukhtuna, she is our sister. Hamid then says, Ma ismuha. But you see the squiggly on top shows that he's a hamzatul wasl, means you join over. So you say masmuha, like we did masmuka in the second person when speaking to someone. So here we're talking third person. Masmuha. What is her name? And ahaduhum, one of them replies, Ismuha Layla. Her name is Layla. Hamid. Aina baytukumul jadidu. Aina baytukum al jadidu. There's a sakin on the sukun on this meme here. Aina baytukum ma'akum. We did the kum plural here a couple of times. Ammukum, ma'akum, etc. So it is here. Aina baytukum al jadidu. Baytukum al jadidu. But I touched on this point before, that you don't stop in the middle of a sentence with a sakin. You'll join and carry on. Aina baytukumul. Aina baytukumul jadidu. Aina baytukumul jadidu. Where is your new house? Aina baytukum al jadidu. Where is your new house? Is correct. That's correct. Yes, 100%. So, Aina baytukum al jadidu. We're going to touch on something which is related to this at a later point. So, Aina baytukum al-jadidu. Where is your new house? Your new house. Where is your new house? أحدهم بيتنا الجديد قريب من المطار. بيتنا, بيتك, بيته, بيتي, بيتنا. Now we're doing the plural form, which is the na, not na, but na. We did do plural feminine at one point, but focus on the na, the pool. That's a plural. Masculine and feminine is the same. So بيتنا, our house. بيتنا الجديد. Why بيتنا الجديد? Why is it جديد? This is the way all your Arabic comes in, because knowing where all the harakat must fit in and why it goes that way. Why is it not بيتنا الجديد? Why is it بيتنا الجديد? بيت الجديد. بيت الجديد. So what should it be? Anybody want to give the answer? Should it be بيتنا الجديد or should it be بيتنا الجديد? It's open for anybody who wants to answer. Okay, so the answer which is given over here is جديد. بيتنا الجديد قريب من المطار. بيتنا الجديد. The reason why it is بيتنا الجديد, okay, the reason was not given in the reply, but anyway, so بيتنا الجديد. بيت الجديد, which is a description, موصوف صفة, so they correspond with one another. So بيت الجديد, بيتنا الجديد, our new house. Our new house. Should it be بيتنا الجديد as in مضاف مضاف إليه, or should it be بيتنا الجديد as in موصوف صفة? Anybody want to take what we call it now, try it answering that point? If you were to look at the sentence, is it attributing it to بيتنا الجديد or بيتنا الجديد? If you say جديد, why? If you say جديد, why? Okay, so the answer which is given here is it's a possessed item belonging. So a possessed, the house belonging to the group of kids. So belonging is مضاف مضاف إليه. Possessed item, مضاف مضاف إليه. So if it is مضاف مضاف إليه, should it then be جديد or should it be جديد? Okay, so you're saying it should be بيتنا الجديد. But the thing is that if you are saying بيتنا الجديد, remember موصوف صفة, I mean مضاف مضاف إليه, one of them gets a kasra. So if it is جديد, it's not مضاف مضاف إليه. That will make it موصوف صفة. موصوف صفة means description and the item which is being described. مضاف مضاف إليه means the possessed item and the possessor. So that's why I said what we had done is being brought into practice. So one changes a haraka, the other one does not change the haraka. One of the mudaf mudaf ilayh versus mawsuf sifa, one gives a kasra, which is the mudaf mudaf ilayh, and mawsuf sifa doesn't change it in that way. So if you are saying Baytun al-Jadidu, and this is why your harakat is so important, because if you are saying Baytun al-Jadidu, it can only translate to one thing. You can't read Baytun al-Jadidu and translate it as Baytun al-Jadidi and vice versa. Because Baytun al-Jadidi, okay, maybe from an English perspective, it doesn't, you don't exactly see a difference, but Baytun al-Jadidi, our new house. Baytun al-Jadidu, our new house. From an English perspective, English doesn't have the capability of making the distinction. So, but anyway, we'll come across it in further detail at a later stage, inshallah ta'ala, anyway. So, okay, let's get back to where we were. So, بيتنا الجديد قريب من المطار. Our new house, the house belonging to us. بيتنا الجديد is if the بيتنا, the na here is us, that would be the مضاف إليه. So بيتنا الجديد. In which case, you know, okay, let me scrap all of that. Start from the beginning. Baytun is one word. Na is a possessive pronoun. Al-Jadid is what? It's a description. So Baytun na, I'm breaking it at three separate words. Baytun na al-Jadid. I'm not putting any harakat on them. So Baytuna al-Jadid. So Baytul Jadid, in other words, leave the na out of the question. It's because the na can't change. It don't change to ni, you know, for example. So there's your mudaf and mudaf ilay. Baytuna, our house. Al-Jadid, our new house. So Baytuna al-Jadid is basically what we are saying over here. So it would mean Baytuna al-Jadidu. Baytul Jadidu. That's what you are looking at essentially. Baytul Jadidu, you leave the na out of the equation and it makes it a lot easier for you to put your harakat on. So Baytul Jadidu, the new house. The new house of ours. Baytuna al-Jadidu. Baytuna al-Jadidu. Our new house. So it is mudaf ilay. Baytuna. Mawsuf sifa. The sifa is al-Jadid. The mawsuf is Baytun. So yeah, okay, we're not exactly doing what we call in Arabic as tarkib, where you break the sentences down, because Baytun would then be مضاف na مضاف إليه مضاف بمضاف إليه say milkar, as you would call it in Urdu back in the day. مضاف مضاف إليه say milkar becomes the موصوف. al-Jadidu is the sifa. موصوف sifa say milkar, and you know, then you come your mubtada and your khabar and or your fi'al fa'il and maf'ul, all that sort of stuff. But anyway, we do that at a much later stage in time. So baytuna al-Jadidu, our new house. قريب when you're reading it with tajweed. قريب من المطار. Matar means a place of aeroplanes. I'll call it aeroplanes so that you're not confusing it with other types of planes. So قريب من المطار. Al-Matar, a place of aeroplanes, meaning an airport. So our new house is close to the airport. Hamid. Hamidun, antum fil madrasati thanawiyati. So Hamid now asks, are all of you in secondary school? One of them replies, أحدهم, لا, نحن بالجامعة. No, we are in university. All of us, we all actually in university. So he says, أنا في كلية الهندسة. ومحمود في كلية الطب. وإبراهيم في كلية الشريعة. ويوسف في كلية التجارة. So what it tells you is that you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 brothers that were present. So we just were told that there was a group of youngsters, not how many there are, but by this answer you come to realize how many brothers there were. So he replies by saying we are in university. He begins with himself without telling you what his name is. I am fi kulliya. Kulliya is a term used in universities which is faculty, as it's translated into English. So handasa Remember, we read the word muhandisun, an engineer. Handasa is engineering. So, fi kulliyatil handasati, in the faculty of engineering. I am in the faculty of engineering. Wa mahmudun fi kulliyati tibbi. The other brother, the first one whose name we know is Mahmoud. So Mahmoud is in the faculty of medicine, at-tibbi, tabibun, a doctor. So at-tib is the, let's call it this way, the science. So Handasa is the science of engineering, Tib is the science of medicine, wa Ibrahimu fi kulliyati shari'ati, and Ibrahim is in the faculty of Islamic studies. In other words, he's doing Islamic studies. وَيُوسُفُ فِي كُلِّيَّةِ التِّجَارَةِ, and Yusuf is in the faculty of commerce. He's doing business studies. So those are the four brothers, Mahmoud, Ibrahim, Yusuf, and the unnamed fourth one. Hamid now says, من ذلك الفتى الذي في سيارتكم? من ذلك الفتى الذي في سيارتكم? Who is that youngster, the one that is in your car? في سيارتي, سيارتي, because of في سيارتكم, plural form. Who is that youngster, the one that is in your car? In other words, who's that youngster in your car? Mahmoud replies, Mahmoudun huwa zamili. He is my colleague. Hamidun min aina huwa? Hamid now asks, where is he from? Mahmoud replies, Mahmoudun huwa min Inkaltarra. He is from England. Inkaltarra is England. Hamidun masmuhu. What is his name? Mahmoud ismuhu Williamu. Mahmoud replies by saying his name is William. So when you take William and you convert it into Arabic, it becomes Williamu. Now, as you know from what we had learned previously, any names which are not Arabic in origin can never get tanween. So obviously, Williamu is not Arabic, so therefore Williamu will never get tanween. So ismuhu Williamu, his name is William. Hamid now hears the name and his first question is, a Muslimun huwa? Is he a Muslim? So, you know, people sometimes say, why do we need to change our names and everything? A name is part of your identity. If you're not using a Muslim name, how can you expect that people must just suddenly know that they must smell the fact that you are a Muslim? So, you know, a Muslimun huwa? Is he a Muslim? And Mahmoud replies, La huwa Nasraniyun. Abuhu Ustadi. Ismuhu ad-Doktor Eduardo. Mahmoud replied by saying, no, he's a Nasrani. Nasrani means a Christian. So no, he's a Christian. Abuhu Ustadi. His father is my teacher. Ismuhu, meaning the father's name is ad-Doktor Eduardo. Eduardo, Edward. So like King Edward. So Edward is his name. His name is Professor Edward. I'm going to translate Doctor as professor rather than doctor. His name is Dr. Edward. His name is Professor Edward at least. And then just to add to the point, that's the page now. Okay, he puts in brackets here. He says, Yahdihim Allahu ilal Islam. May Allah guide him. Huma is a dual form. Remember, huwa, huma, hum. Here, it's not part of the lesson, but he throws it in for the sake of it because there must probably be a real William whose father's name is Edward. So he says, Yahdihim Allahu ilal Islam. May Allah guide the two of them to Islam. Because if there's, you know, unfortunately today people have strayed so far from such things. What's the big deal if you are a Christian or anything? Yet here you have a fictitious story played out for the sake of learning Arabic. And yet, even in a case like this here, the tarbiyah, let me put it this way, that is imparted in this lesson is that you make the distinction between Muslim and Kafir. No, you are Muslim, and no, you are Nasrani. We're not exactly the same. And when you have somebody who's not Muslim, you make dua that Allah guides them to Islam. So Hamid now says, أذهبتم إلى المستشفى لزيارة عمكم اليوم. أذهبتم. Question, the alif istifham. Did you? Dhahabtum. Remember, dhahabta, you went. Dhahabtum, all of you went. So adhahabtum, have all of you gone? Gone where? Ila al-mustashfa, to the hospital. Li for what reason? Li, for the reason of what? Ziyarati, visiting. Ammikum, your paternal uncle اليوم today. So أذهبتم إلى المستشفى لزيارة عمكم اليوم. Did you go to the hospital to visit your paternal uncle today? And Yusuf replies by saying نعم ذهبنا. Yes, we went to the hospital. In other words, we went. So we went because we don't have to say we went to the hospital, because it's part of the conversation already to know that we are speaking about the hospital. So there's no need to specify and single it out again to say نعم ذهبنا إلى المستشفى لزيارة عمنا. For example, there's no need to say it, because by saying you were asked the question, did you go there? So if you said yes we went, it means yes we went there to the hospital to visit our paternal uncle. So the habna is sufficient as an answer. It's to also avoid dragged out conversations, and also to prevent unnecessary repetitions. Because if you're going to be replying نعم ذهبنا إلى المستشفى لزيارة عمنا اليوم, عمنا, I'm changing it from عمكم, we went to the hospital to visit our uncle today. You basically repeating all the words which he said. So to simplify and shorten your speech, you just say, yes, we went. And that says everything that needs to be said. Okay, our time is just about run out. Unfortunately, we don't even have time to be able to take a question, but we've got exercises running into next week. So the تمارين exercises. Number 1, أجب على الأسئلة الآتية. Answer the following questions. من أنتم, who are all of you. أين بيتكم, where is all your houses, or your house, all of you. من ربكم, who is your Lord. And you can look through the next ones over here, but hopefully you can give an answer at least for these 3 next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, inshallah ta'ala. That's the end of page 83. We will continue on from this point here